On this episode, we talk about finding a product or an audience first, how to market a remote tech support company, and what to do when your Facebook ads are not feeding out. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 40 of the AskEngine show. I just got excited today. I didn't
just
look up
excited
anywhere.
again.
Yeah, I need a thesaurus up here. We're excited. As you can see, Joe is no longer with us because he tore up
He removed all the sound panels.
our lovely background.
And left some fuzz.
He's gonna make it even better. We just gotta take it down a notch, Joe. We've been saying too many nice things about you recently. So he put himself in the thumbnail last week.
Really?
Yeah. Come on.
Getting a little aggressive there.
Facetious over here. Anyways, got 3 questions for you. We're gonna jump in and get those answered and move on.
Yeah. Question 1 from r/e-commerce. This person wants to know: should I find a product or an audience first for my e-commerce plus store?
Yeah. So this question. It's interesting because ultimately a lot of it's going to depend on the circumstances that you are in. If you are, so Terry is an amazing example. Terry is a guy that has worked with John. He worked in Acumen. He worked in a lot of different things. He created an agency that was purchased by Saatchi X. He is creating an e-commerce company, and they are, 100% into creating and building an audience first. And it's amazing because he has the ability to do that. They have the funding, they can hold their breath and build a legitimate connection with their consumer before they try and sell them anything. You may not be in a position to do that. There's nothing wrong with selling a product, especially if it's a good product, especially if it's something that your audience wants. So depending on where you're at is really the details matter in this answer.
If you're not venture backed and have a long runway of funding, I'm going to say find a niche. Which by finding a niche, you're gonna find your audience and your product at nearly the same time that way. Like you're going to intuitively position yourself in a good niche, and that means you have a focused audience and you have something that you're going to be selling to them. So it's both at the same time. Yeah. But if you have a lot of funding, if you have a good runway, build that audience up, really make an experience for them, and then flip it around to selling product.
Yeah, because you're not going to know who your exact audience is until you're selling them something. Yeah. We were talking about, I was looking at $800 to $1,200 jackets yesterday. I'm not their audience. I'm not going to go buy a $1,200 jacket. So you need to almost have the sales in place because that's who your true audience is, and that's who you need to market to, is people who are going to buy your product, not just a window shopper.
Question number 2 from r/startups. This person wants to know, do you have any thoughts on how I can market my remote tech support company? That's tough. That's really tough in a market that is highly competitive and really based a lot on reputation and trust. Yeah. Word of mouth is my big thing there.
I've got a great answer for this. You need to go find a company that you can leverage. Like you said, trust is massive here because when you're looking for tech support, it's I want my money and I want it now. Typically, tech support is a high stress situation. And they need to know and trust that you're going to get it done. You're going to get it done quickly and do it correctly. And so I would find a few companies that you can go and do work for, either at cost or for free in exchange. However you want to operate. I know some people are super romantic about not doing work for free. You need to get labels on your website of, we have done work for Salesforce. We have done work for X, IBM. It doesn't matter who it is, but it's got to be a well-known company that you can then leverage that relationship. Once you've done that, then ask for referrals. So if you're in a local market, go help someone and then say, look, I've got, I'm trying to grow my business. I went and did this for you. I did you a solid. I didn't charge you a lot, this, that, the other. I need 5 names of people I can reach out to that you can connect me with. And be ruthless about that. Asking for referrals, the reason people don't get referral work is because they don't ask for it. So if you help somebody out, don't leave without 5 names of people they can personally introduce you to that you can also help, especially if you've done a good job.
Well, and I don't think you're going to cash flow this through fixing old ladies' computers 3 a day, that kind of thing. I think you're going to have to find businesses that need some sort of outsourced tech support on the daily that you can build a contract with and say, hey, I'm going to reserve 10 hours a month for you if you pay me X amount of money. Yeah. Build up a portfolio of those and use that to scale and grow. This is not a strategy where you put ads out on Facebook looking for people that are having trouble with their computer and then you
One-offs is
drive
not
around.
gonna-
It's not going to work on a one-to-one basis.
You need predictable revenue. That's an amazing insight, and you can charge less if it's predictable. If you told me that, hey, I can predictably give you $10,000 a month in contracts, or you can hustle and sometimes make 12, sometimes make 6. In a business, predictable revenue is the way to go. So that's a great point. Contracting out.
Last question. This user on r/ecommerce wants to know what they should do about their Facebook ad not getting impressions. So some context here. The ad was published 2 days ago and was approved in less than an hour. Since then, it's been 40 hours. They have no impressions, no reach. What should they do?
Yeah, so he mentions he's doing manual bidding, so he's doing a max bid of $4 per purchase. You may just not be competitive in the auction. So what you need to do to break that down, ultimately, like, we get it. You want to be getting, you only want to spend $4 for the purchase. Like, that's fantastic. But if the minimum bid is $10, you're not going to be fed out because you're not competitive in that auction process. So Facebook runs on an auction. If there's 1,000 people trying to sell this to Blake, the person who spends the most is going to be serve the ad to Blake for that widget. So the process to step this back is you either need to up your manual bid. So what I typically do is if I'm trying to get a cost per purchase of $5, I'm going to bid $25 on that. I'm going to 5x it. I'm going to increase my daily spend on that ad set because I want to bully the auction. I want to know that I'm winning the auction. And then taper it down. So if we're winning the auction at $25, I'm going to then split test that and go for $20, $15, $10. I'm going to find that sweet spot of where I'm not optimizing for the most spend, but I'm still getting the majority of the impressions on that. On that auction. The second thing you can do is drop from an OCPM event to an ECPM event. So if you're optimizing for purchases and it's a bottom of funnel activity, so you're retargeting at that point, you can optimize for impressions because it's going to spend out at a much lower cost than if you're optimizing for a purchase event on a smaller audience. Obviously, audience size comes into play here because you don't want to run impressions to a retargeting audience of 100,000 people because you want Facebook to find the people who are going to purchase. So that's a little bit of a details question. But first thing you can do is up your manual bid. Make sure that you're winning the auction. If you're not competitive, you're not competitive. Facebook's not here to help you sell. They're here to collect ad revenue.
Yeah. Well, and I will say this. I hate that the first suggestion on this post, too, is just delete your campaign and try remaking it again. That's not the approach you should be taking here at all.
No.
So.
Perfect. Question of the day. Let's talk about Facebook. Facebook, ever since Q3 of last year, has been kind of a bear to deal with. They've been going through a lot of changes. They've been scrambling. They've been under a lot of pressure from governments, and so I want to talk about and hear your feedback on working with Facebook. I love Facebook. It can be kind of a fickle mistress sometimes. So I want to hear not just like complaining, oh, this didn't work for me, but what are your thoughts around all the changes that Facebook is making, and how are you going to adapt as a marketer or as a business owner? Thank you all for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.